today we're going to be talking about the movie The Gallows, which has been highly requested for me to review since it came out in theaters. It is still in theaters now as I am reviewing this and uploading this, so yep. So since the trailer came out, I thought this movie looked horrible. I'm not gonna lie, and it had a smaller budget, and the investors of the movie were a lot of people who had never invested in films before, so they kind of were like friends of the movie makers, of the filmmakers, the directors, whatever. And it was shot in Fresno, California, which is really close to me actually, and it said like because it was like a friendly town and stuff, they were able to just use the scenery and, you know, school and things like that. So it was backed by Warner Brothers, and originally a lot of people thought the plot before the trailers came out sounded a lot like Sinister, which I do not see at all, but when the trailers came out they took those back. So basically this film is about a school where 20 years prior from when we are watching this, there was an accident while doing a play of The Gallows. Basically the person who is supposed to be playing August is hung accidentally. Like there's a freak accident, the ground below him like breaks and he's actually hung even though it's supposed to be like a prop. 20 years later they are putting on the same production as kind of like not celebrating it, but just as part of the school's history. So they're trying to recreate this play and actually go through with it successfully. So we just follow this main guy and like his interaction with all the people, and there's a bunch of like football players who are part of it as part of their like drama credit or something. And you should know this is all shot in found footage style. So one of the guys in the play who is playing August in the play of The Gallows is a really bad actor. Not like me saying that in the movie he's playing a bad actor, meaning that he can't act for the play. So his friend comes up with this idea that they're gonna break into the school, not break in because there's this door that's always unlocked and it's always open. They're gonna go into the school and like take apart the set, and then they are not able to perform The Gallows. So they go there at night and they're with the main character's girlfriend Cassidy, who is actually Kathy Lee Gifford's daughter. So it's the three of them there and they start taking apart the set, and the one guy isn't really into it because he has a crush on what's the drama girl, like the theater geek girl that is kind of in charge of the whole play. She's playing the main girl in the play. So then this is a ghost movie. As we can tell by the trailer, it is a haunting type of film. So as they're there, they're kind of stirring up some old spirits that are in there. Well, one in particular, Charlie, who actually died in the play 20 years prior. His ghost is now haunting the theater. Now I'm going to talk about this movie and what I didn't like about it and what I didn't like about it, and then I'll talk about the ending and spoilers and things like that, because that has some relevance to my review. So anyway, getting started with what I hated about this movie, the whole thing. I mean, I don't mean to sound harsh or anything, but the storyline was weak. The acting was horrible. It was really bad. Like the whole thing felt very homemade to me, like some group of friends got together and made this film and somehow got Warner Brothers to like back it. I don't even know how something like this can get into theaters just fine and not something like Honeymoon. It was actually a pretty terrible movie and I was very disappointed, although I did not have high hopes going into it because I thought the trailer looked horrible, but I wanted to see it to review it for you guys. So everything about this is pretty weak. The scares were horrible because they were all jump scares, but I will give it credit, there were a few non-jump scares that are actually pretty creepy. So some of the scares were okay, but most of them were jump scares, and dumb jump scares like were not necessary, and I hate jump scares anyway. I think they're a cop-out for making something scary because it makes people think that, oh, I'm scared right now. No, you're startled. But there were a couple moments that were like, that's a good move right there. However, all that being said, if you are a sucker for teen movies like I am, you're probably gonna like this film. I probably would not buy this on DVD. Would I watch it again? Maybe in a year or two. It is very teen horror-esque, and that's one of my favorite genres, especially teen supernatural horror. That's my favorite genre of horror film right there. But this one was pretty bad. So I could see it becoming like a guilty pleasure later in my life. I mean like a few years, I could see it becoming like a guilty pleasure. Like I really don't like it. Kind of like The Haunting of Molly Hartley. For some reason I love that movie and I watch it so much, and I just love that movie for some reason. It's really not good. but I love it. So now I'm gonna get into some spoilers and what happens at the end, and there's a big plot twist and stuff like that I'm gonna talk about. If you haven't seen it yet or you don't want to know, then tune out now. So we find out this huge plot twist at the end that the Charlie, the guy who was killed 20 years prior, played August, and he was actually an understudy, and the guy who was originally going to play August was actually the dad of the new guy that was cast as August, if that makes any sense. So we have the new guy who's a bad actor, right? He's a football player, he's just doing this for drama credit, but he actually gets pretty into it. His dad was originally supposed to be August in the first time around 20 years ago. So then it seems like Charlie has a vengeance towards this kid. He's like, well, you killed me, so I'm gonna like kill your son, so it's like even or something like that. That's how I felt it was. But then we have even more of a twist at the end, because the girl, the drama nerd girl, Pfeiffer, she ends up being the daughter of Charlie. What? So this ending was a little bit predictable. I didn't really see it coming, but I had to assume there was going to be some twist. But I did like that there were 2 twists at the end instead of 1, because you kind of get blindsided by the second one once the first one happens and you find out his dad was actually supposed to be cast as him originally, and then you find out later it's actually the daughter, and she's like, you know, like on a mission to help her dad kill her friends. And it just ends up being really, really strange. And then at the very, very end, it gets so stupid because it tries to be like Paranormal Activity, in my opinion. It just gets really weird. Like, the cops walk into the house of Pfeiffer and her mom's like brushing her hair, and they look like so drained, like they're ghosts or something. And they're watching the footage of her dad dying in the freak accident videotape. It just ends up being really dumb, and like, you see Charlie a lot towards the end, and that is stupid. Like, I think they should have saved that. We don't need to see what he looks like. We don't need to see him at all. It's like, once you see him once or twice, it's not scary anymore. And they do this weird thing at the end. It's like so Paranormal Activity, where he like goes really fast to the screen. Overall, not a fan. Not a fan. I would not see this in theaters if I were you. I would wait, if you really want to watch it, to see it at home, because it's just not worth money to spend and go see it. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this film, and let me know if you've seen The Gallows, what you thought of it down below, and also leave some more movie requests. I will see you guys on Friday for Final Destination Friday. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
I promise that my work will continue. Saw 4.